Thank you and good afternoon once more. As we start this evening's proceedings, I'm Thaddeus Peters, Acting Chief Agricultural Officer at the Ministry of Agriculture, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this afternoon. It's the meeting of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety, a regional organization, as the name implies. So, to start this evening's activity, I will call on Mr. Denny Crone of the Ministry of Health to lead us in prayer and the national anthem.
Greetings to all. Let us all stand. Let's pray. Almighty God in heaven, we give you thanks and praise for life, health, and strength. We give you thanks and praise for a safe trip for our friends in our different countries who are here with us today. We pray that the proceedings today will be fruitful and each one of us here will benefit some way, somehow. We pray, dear Lord, for your continuous blessings upon our countries. We pray that we'll be united in one voice when it comes to, certain topics, dear Father. We pray, dear Father, that today we will get to know each other, we'll get to mingle, we'll make bonds, we'll make friendship, good, healthy friendship, dear Father. And we pray, dear God, that for the leaders of our nation, for the leaders of the different country, we pray that you will bestow upon them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, so as they make decisions, they will make the right decisions that is beneficial for the countries on a whole. So please, we thank you for everything that you are doing for us, everything that you are doing in our lives, everything that you are doing in our countries. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, Grenada, land of ours, we pledge ourselves to thee. Heads, hearts, and hands in unity to reach our destiny. Ever conscious of God, being proud of our heritage, may we with faith and courage aspire, build, advance as one people, one family. God bless our nation.
You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Crone, for that beautiful rendition and for your opening prayer. So I will just want to recognize in the audience as the ceremony for the third annual meeting of the CTFS gets underway, Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister of Health, Ms. Rhonda Jones, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Ms. Caroline McQuilkin, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for national security, home affairs, information, disaster management in the Ministry of National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management, Mr. Isaac Bagwan, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Blue Economy, Fisheries and Marine Affairs. I'm not sure if Ms. Jessamy is here. Dr. Sean Charles, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patricia Johnson, Chairperson of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety. I don't think Ms. Harrietta is here yet. Dr. Gavin Peters, Chief Executive Officer at CAFSA, the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency, Mr. Kenneth Hazard, Chief Environmental Health Officer, yours truly, Ms. Selvin Grant, Deputy Program Manager, Agricultural Development at CARICOM, Mr. Giuseppe Daichera, Standards Development and Communication Specialist at the Food and Agricultural Organization. Out of Rome, I know we have other distinguished representatives here, representing FAO Sub-Regional Office, Dr. Renetta Clark, the ICA Country Rep, Mr. Gregory Del Sol, all the participants and members of CTFS from regional neighbors, and other organizations represented here, other members of the various ministries of agriculture and health. So I just want to briefly say welcome, although that's not my official responsibility, and wishing us all the best during this evening's exercise and also for the next 2 days of meetings. So at this point, I will want to ask Dr. Patricia Johnson, chairperson of CTFS and out of the Bahamas, to give us some remarks.
Good afternoon. Before I get started, I just want to acknowledge the fact that Ms. Henrietta Alexander is now with us after her long travels. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, partners, and friends, and also to those who are joining us online. I want to invite you to take a trip with me across the Caribbean. Imagine this: a grandmother in Jamaica preparing a Sunday lunch, a farmer in Guyana setting up his fresh produce at the farmer's market for shoppers, a fisherman in Belize bringing in his early morning catch, a street vendor in Trinidad serving doubles to a long line of customers, or a street vendor in Grenada roasting corn fresh off the cob for passers-by. I literally saw this on my way to the hotel yesterday, and I will be going there to taste it. Or a hotel chef in Barbados, or even in the Bahamas, plating a dish for visitors from across the globe. What connects them all? The plate. And what safeguards that plate? Our collective commitment to food safety. Today, under the theme, Safeguarding the Plate, Advancing Food Safety Across the Caribbean, we gather not just as professionals, but as guardians of public health, protectors of livelihoods, and champions of regional resilience. Allow me to extend a warm welcome to the Minister of Agriculture, who will soon be here, and the Minister of Health, and their accompanying staff here in Grenada. I also wish to welcome all members of the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency, our Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety, CTFS members, and forgive me, but I'm going to call out the long name of these agencies because we need to know who they are. I also want to welcome other representatives from CARICOM member states, our valued partners from the University of the West Indies, UE, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO and Codex, the European Union, EU, the Standards and Trade Development Facility, STDF, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IECA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, the Committee Linking Entrepreneurship, Agriculture, Development, COLEAD, the Global Food Regulatory Science Society, GFORCE, the Caribbean Industrial Research Institution, and other regional and international agencies that will be joining us over the next couple of days. Your presence here speaks volumes. It is a testament to the shared belief that safe food is not a privilege, it is a right. Safe food is a right for all consumers across the Caribbean. You see, food is more than just sustenance. It is our culture, our identity, and our economy. But here's the thing. If food safety is compromised, that very plate that nourishes us, that sustains us, can also be the source of illness, economic loss, and reputational damage. As that saying goes, word of mouth is the best advertisement. We all know the statistics of the WHO that 1 in 10 people globally will fall ill each year from consuming contaminated food or unsafe food. And for small island states like ours, the stakes are even higher. A single food safety incident in any one of our jurisdictions can decimate our economies. And it can decimate that by going through our tourism, our agriculture, and also our trade, ultimately affecting thousands of livelihoods. Folks, this is why the CAFSA task force exists. We exist so that we can coordinate, strengthen, and harmonize our regional food safety systems so that every plate served in the Caribbean is a plate we can trust. So what have we done as a collective body? September 10 to 12 of 2024, CAFSA task force members came together for a conference in Suriname under the theme, Food Safety in a Changing Climate. Safe food, healthy people, stronger communities. Member states presented their specific limitations, challenges, frustrations, and potential solutions to food safety bottlenecks. And so the work began. Earlier in 2025, late January, at a CTF meeting held in Barbados, countries were assigned to one of the 6 food safety threats or issues which were identified from the proceedings in Suriname. And those 6 issues were strengthening training programs, networking and modernizing laboratory services, shaping the Caribbean food safety culture, supporting legislative updates, initiating risk-based assessment to mitigate food vulnerabilities, and increasing Codex engagement in the Caribbean. On June 3rd to the 4th of 2025, CTFS members continued the work as they met in Trinidad and Tobago for its 2nd annual meeting under the theme, Building Resilient Agri-Food Systems, Strengthening Food Safety, Sustainability, and Consumer Awareness. Each of the 6 teams were tasked with developing at least 3 goals along with the activities to support them over the duration of a 3-year work plan. Members presented their plans and, among other things, highlighted the urgent need for expanded food safety training, modernized surveillance systems, better laboratory networks, and improved food safety culture across CARICOM. Now here we are once again in Grenada, June 2nd to the 4th at our 3rd annual meeting of the CTFS under the theme, Safeguarding the Plate, Advancing Food Safety Across the Caribbean. The CTFS has been working, ladies and gentlemen, and with the help of its regional and international partners, it plans to strengthen the food control systems across the region through collaborative efforts that protects livelihoods, preserves markets, and builds trust. And as we are faced with threats due to climate change, shifting trade patterns, and evolving pathogens, we know that our work is not over, but in fact becoming more complex. So to ensure that we address the challenges of the day, we must prioritize our role of digitization for real-time monitoring, traceability, and data sharing across borders. We need to increase our public awareness by empowering consumers to demand and recognize safe food and improve policy harmonization, by aligning national regulations to strengthen regional trade and protect public health. We have our work cut out for us. But one thing I am assured of is that food safety is not the job of one agency, one ministry, or one country. It is a shared responsibility from the farm to the fork, from the policymaker to the plate. All of us must play a role, because when we safeguard the plate, we safeguard health, preventing illness and protecting the most vulnerable of us. We protect the economy, preserving tourism, agriculture, and trade, and we protect culture, ensuring that our culinary heritage remains a source of pride, not risk. So colleagues, as we convene over the next couple of days, we must remain committed to every child who eats a school lunch, every visitor who tastes our cuisine, every farmer who sends produce to market, every consumer who patronizes the local vendors, not just the five-star restaurants, the roadside vendors as well, and every other consumer across the food chain. Let us, with renewed determination, strengthen our systems, share our knowledge, and stand united in safeguarding the plate for every Caribbean citizen and visitor. Because when the plate is safe, the people are safe. And when the people are safe, the Caribbean thrives. Again, welcome to the 2026 third annual meeting of the CAFSA Task Force on Food Safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you for this well put together, well said remarks, for taking us through the journey, the short journey, I should say, of the CTFS, for outlining some of the issues that we face, and for giving the team the charge as we meet over the next 2 days and we go into future programs that could take us to where, to the space that we want to be in. So once again, thank you for your remarks. I just want to continue and emphasize the welcome to all those who are here in Grenada, pure Grenada, spice of the Caribbean. Did the visitors learn that phrase or that tagline? Not yet, but I guess when you live in, it should be top of your mind. At this stage, I would like to invite Mr. Kenneth Hazard, the Chief Environmental Health Officer at the Ministry of Health here in Grenada, to give some remarks, some welcome remarks for this activity. Mr. Hazard.
The Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister of Health, Grenada, Ms. Rhonda Jones, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Ms. Colin McQuilkin, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for National Security, Home Affairs, Information and Disaster Management in the Ministry of National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management. Mr. Isaac Bagwan, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Blue Economy, Fisheries and Marine Affairs. Mistress Marina Jessime, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry Economics, Development, Planning and Cooperatives. Mr. Javan Williams, Minister of Agriculture, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. Assistant PS Nathalie Williams, Assistant PS in the Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. Sean Charles, Chief Medical Officer, Ministry of Health, Grenada. Dr. Patricia Johnson, Chairperson of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety. Ms. Henrietta Alexander, Vice Chair, Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety. Dr. Gavin Peters, Chief Executive Officer, Caribbean Agriculture Health and Food Safety Agency. Mr. Andre Wome, former Chief Environmental Health Officer, Ministry of Health. And I'd like to recognize Professor Mark Woodivera, professor at the University of the West Indies. I think he's part of the agri-food section of the Ministry of the University of the West Indies. Fellow task force members, other diplomats, other dignitaries who are here, ladies and gentlemen, it is really an honor for me to welcome my friends from the rest of the region who we have been interacting with mostly online. We have been hearing each other's voices as we collaborate online, trying to put this task force together and to get our work done. I want to really welcome you to Grenada. As Mr. Peters said, we are the spice of the Caribbean. And I'm sure, as most people say, when we enter our airspace, you actually get a smell and a feel of the spice. And I'm sure even the smile on Dr. Johnson and our Vice Chair's face right now tells me that. So I really take this opportunity to welcome you to Grenada. Grenada is actually a very unique place in the Caribbean. We're the second island in the southernmost Caribbean. And we host some of the most unique spots within the region. Our Grandens Beach, which sits right behind us, has been sitting at almost, I think it is number 10, within the first 10 of the best beaches across the world. We boast of very friendly people. And I do believe, I always boast that we have the lowest crime rate in the world. Grenada, I believe, is the most safe place to be in the world. And I can assure you, as you move around, even though you have been advised not to move in single file, I can assure you that you are safe when you walk in Grenada at any point in time. Grenada is, of course, very much honored to host this third annual conference of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety. I do remember when we brought the request to our former PS Taylor. She did not hesitate in giving the approval to host this event. Ms. Roberts and Mr. Frederick would tell you all three of us were concerned when we sent the budget to Cabinet. Surprisingly, P.S. Jones handed us a document in very short order, very short time. Cabinet has given the approval for the hosting of the event and full approval of the budget. And so we are assured that our government has its full support behind this event today, and more so, the work of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety and the work of CAFSA. Our Minister and Permanent Secretary's presence here today is evidence of the government's commitment to seeing food safety, not just in Grenada, but across the region, be what it ought to be. Even as we speak, Grenada has stepped up in terms of our approach to food safety. Only recently, our Chief Medical Officer wrote a new policy as it regards to our food handlers in Grenada and how we go about getting our food safety or food handlers certification. All our food handlers now must go through some form of training, approved training, and training approved by the Ministry of Health in order to be certified as food handlers in Grenada. I must say that we have had tremendous response to this call. Even as we speak, our training, we had launched a training of food handlers over the last 2 weeks, and it's ongoing. And in fact, in St. George's, we have had to close registration after we have had over 100 requests, and hosted only yesterday another training in St. George's of another 80 participants. And so we are now stepping up in terms of our enforcement of our food safety bills and acts. Our Food Safety Act of 2015 is now in full enforcement, and our food handlers are in fact understanding the need for safe food handling in our country. We had some recent events, sporting and other events, for which our officers had to make inspections. I am pleased to report that every vendor at those events exhibited full compliance with our food safety standards and policies. Over the last 3 years, the Ministry of Health has been celebrating World Food Safety Day. And we are pleased that the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety is now held at a date that coincides with World Food Safety Day. That was a decision that was taken at one of our meetings to ensure that the two are tied together. And so even as we hold this event in Grenada, we have already launched our activities for World Food Safety Day. And this year, and I do give special thanks to Mr. Denis Cronier, who has had Minister, well, smiling at that new rendition of the national anthem. I'm sure Minister is going to adopt it and ask that Parliament that we now adopt this new rendition. I must thank Mr. Cronier for really spearheading the activities and coming up with some new initiatives every year. And so this year, what we have launched is a debate competition among our schools, and we have been pleasantly surprised at the depth of the research that our secondary school students have put into this activity. The facts that they have been putting forward, the research, and I give special recognition to our secondary school teachers because they have been the driving force behind these students. And so this year at our CTFS conference, we will see the final of the debate competition that's going to be held at 3 o'clock tomorrow, with our chair and vice chair being two of the judges on the panel. And so we do look forward to the outcome of this conference here in Grenada. We do look forward to advancing the tasks of each of the groups that have been set up and the various aspects of food safety that we are now looking at. Training, laboratory capacity, food safety culture, legislation, risk assessment, and implementation and our adoption of codex. I want to give special recognition to two of my colleagues. And when Ms. Blackman came to Grenada, I think October last year, Ms. Blackman has a heart in this thing. So once we accepted to host the event, she traveled to Grenada to give guidance. And one of the things I said to her is, Ms. Blackman, once I put this in the hands of Rachel Roberts and Kevin Frederick, I can assure you it will be of its best. And so I really want to give recognition to these two individuals who have worked tremendously, along with the secretary to the team and our minister's secretary, Ms. Tracy Edgar. I know they were here late last night, and I was afraid that Kevin went and fell asleep at the hotel because I know how hard he has been working. So I really want to give recognition to those three persons. I also want to give recognition to Ms. Charles, who have been supporting me in terms of welcoming our participants from abroad and ensuring that this event is what it is. And it's evident in what we're seeing here this evening. And when you get to that room tomorrow, you would see further evidence. And so I take this opportunity once again to thank each of you for coming to Grenada. And you can be assured that your stay here would be one that would leave lasting memories in your mind. Once again, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hazard, on a very detailed welcome. And I know that your comments were well accepted, and it reflected the efforts that went into planning and organizing of this activity as we unroll it. I also want to recognize the STDF representative, Ms. Catalina Pulida, I hope I get it correct, and she would have been here. The STDF, of course, would have been involved in a number of activities, but one of the activities at the Ministry of Agriculture is phytosanitary, SPS, enhancement, and market access for Grenadian soursop. And together with FAO, they have been giving some support in terms of developing the systems and strengthening that industry so we can maintain and even access more further markets for Grenadian soursop. So we are very grateful. It's all part of the food safety system, and we are grateful for your presence here today. Without further ado, I would want to invite Dr. Renata Clark, the Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Caribbean, representing FAO, to bring some welcome remarks to the audience. Dr. Clark.
Good. Honorable Minister Telesford, Honorable Permanent Secretaries, distinguished guests, I'm really pleased to be with you today. I don't have a speech. I have a few thoughts, 4 thoughts that I want to share with you. I, of course, have overall responsibility for FAO's programs across the region, and I'm spending a lot of time. This is an exciting time to be engaged in agriculture because there big expectations for this agriculture sector transformation. So it's with some trepidation, because there are lots of eyes on the ministries of agriculture and how they will be able to move forward in this period. But there's a lot of energy. Economic diversification requires, creating, generating more income from agriculture, food import substitution. These are critical political objectives that are intrinsically linked to food safety. So my first reflection, my first thought has been, over these months or even years, that I'm surprised there's less of a sense of urgency about food safety than I would have expected. This doesn't mean that people aren't aware that food safety needs to be addressed. Quite the opposite. People will tell you, we need to deal with market access issues. But what does that mean? I'm not sure the food safety community has done enough. And I don't expect my ministers and my permanent secretaries to have technical detail about what food safety or food safety systems involve. But I would expect a greater, at least an inkling of what that process should be. What are the milestones? What should they expect of us to deliver? And I think something has been missing in that communication. We want them to feel the heat, that something is happening. Food safety systems are being strengthened. We want them to feel the heat. We want them to see that things are happening. I'm not sure that the communication has been sufficient. Communication from us, it's our policymakers, it's the industry, it's the public that need to be on the same page in terms of where we're going and the challenges we have to face to get there. And it's not just communication by let's send another email, let's send a brochure. It is really thinking through that process of what we have to do, how we're going to get there, and making sure that everyone's on board. So I think there is greater thought to go into this, making sure we're all on the same page. The second point I wanted to make, and it's something I've been saying to many different people in many different contexts, because transforming the agriculture sector is not turning on a light switch. There are many complex pieces that have to come together. And it is with a lot, I told you, the microscope is on many of these institutions to be delivering. And I say, we can't be terrified about the challenges, what we don't have, what's not in place. We have to start where we are. And this, too, is my message. Let's not get wound up in what the problems are, what the challenges are. Let us deliver and let us be seen to be delivering. We can't do everything. I mean, there's a whole discussion around efficiency in food safety systems. Be clear on what your priorities are. Where do you have to take action? Where do you use your resources? And then let's talk about the difference that we are making, that you are making. There's a lot of change happening in food production systems throughout the Caribbean, where a lot more protected systems, circular economy initiatives. The way we are producing food is changing. And we do expect the food safety community to be ahead of the curve, making sure they are anticipating what could be the issues. Not the police to say, stop, we're not sure that's safe, because this transformation process is going on. So you're not there to say, stop, hey, we're not sure about that. Your role is to be thinking ahead and facilitating this transformative change. When the previous speaker was, one of the previous speakers was mentioned public education, Because when I say what we have to do, some things are complicated, very sophisticated laboratory equipment, lots of sophisticated tests and analyses. Some things are simpler. Some things are training, understanding, clarifying, preventing problems. And I did have one less optimistic story than the gentleman who told us about the 100% compliance. My brother is a health freak, you know, so he came to visit me the other day and we went to buy lentil burgers. Having bought these lentil burgers, I discovered that the vendor had included peanut butter in it as a binder. Okay, my brother is allergic to peanuts, but fortunately, nothing dramatic. But for me, it's part of that environmental scanning, part of what we expect Food Safety Authority. What are the new trends? Lots of health food things happening. What are the things we need to look out for that maybe we paid less attention to? So not all of it is sophisticated equipment and need for facility improvement. It's just being aware of the context and making sure that you are ahead of the curve. My third point is, I know this is a gathering of food safety specialists, but I believe there is so much you have to learn from each other. I'm not sure we actually achieve it. I've spoken to many of you over the years, and I know some of you come from highly specialized backgrounds, lots of experience, among the best in the world in certain areas of food safety. I'd like to see more of that sharing. A couple years ago, we co-organized with CAFSA a meeting, and we were able to showcase Jamaica and their Codex triumphs over the years. They have really used the Codex system to protect their agriculture, to think ahead about what they needed from standards to make sure they have market access. It was a great example. I was really hoping for an explosion of enthusiasm. There has been some, but I would like to see that energy transmitted more often. I'm also aware of initiatives in some countries. The first that comes to mind is work being done on ciguatera monitoring in St. Kitts. I mean, I've lost touch with what's happening there, but I was always impressed at the determination with which the Bureau of Standards has been doing this work. But whenever I ask anyone else, are you doing anything on environmental toxins? What about ciguatera? Everybody looks at me blankly. You know, I think there is sharing and learning that would be very informative to us all. Part of my discussions across the countries as we get ready for transformation is also about sustainable institutions, fee-for-service issues. And again, I know it is an issue that several countries are dealing with in relation to their food safety services, but not only. And even there, I think there is an experience and a perspective that can be shared that will allow all of you to move much faster. My fourth point, and final, relates to your place in global governance. And I'm not on the moon, my head is not in the sand or in the sky. I am aware that many of you have other priorities. Codex is not your #1 priority. But there's a lot of space between 0 and 100. Okay. I spoke already to the changing production, but also changing marketing context. It is your role, again, to be thinking ahead, planning forward. In this context of changing production and marketing, can you not imagine some standardization issue that you want to influence to be supporting the transformation in your countries? Because when that comes, it is not that you flip a switch and you influence international decision-making. The possibility to influence it when you think this is something that is very important for me, you will only be able to do it if you are familiar with the system. Now is the time for you to be growing in your familiarity with that system. There's lots happening with Codex, and I'm not going to pretend to anybody that all of it should excite them. But find that thing that is relevant and make sure you understand how the system works. And that you are able to participate, to leverage, to converge, to convince people of your perspective when you find it is necessary. There is another much more pragmatic reason for engaging in Codex, and that is you actually do have in front of you at these meetings all of the decision makers about food safety and market access. And whenever you do have a problem or a question, and you do need to reach out to your importing partner, it's much better if they know you as that serious, sensible, organized, and well-speaking person from the Codex meeting they attended. So one of the earlier speakers congratulated the Food Safety Task Force for having this meeting so close to Food Safety Day. I have celebrated with you Food Safety Day each year that I have been in the Caribbean in this position. And each year, my hope is, let's not make it an empty celebration. Let's make it a celebration where we can really account and list the advancements that we have made from the year before. And we heard some of them today spoken about by the chair of the task force. And my hope for you is that next year, we will be recounting much more and even greater accomplishments for food safety in the Caribbean and agriculture sector transformation and prosperity for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark, for sort of taking us on a journey almost into the future. But we will get there with your advice and your insight. And we are sure Dr. Clark, in my mind, she has emerged as a legend among us in the area, not just food safety, but in support from FAO to the Caribbean region for the development of the agricultural sector. So we do appreciate your presence and your remarks here this evening. I know I'm trying to fill in who I left out, so I just want to scan the audience. It seems that I may have left out my permanent secretary in the original introduction, and I do apologize, P.S. Javan Williams. I must make up because I don't want to be locked out on my return to the ministry. All right, so at this time, I think we are due for a little relaxation, a little entertainment, and we have lined up Ms. Sonika Maki, to give us some activity. I'm not sure exactly what it is, so she will indicate when she gets here.
Pleasant good evening, everyone. These two songs I'm about to do for you are my original compositions, all right? Here goes. I'm one of the greatest of them all. Even when my faith is shaken, I still stand tall. There ain't no mountains too hard to climb. Even when my wings are broken, I still can fly. I still can fly. giants. I may seem small, but what they don't know about me, I defeat them all. I'm mighty and powerful. I am unstoppable. A force to be reckoned with. You are a winner. You can fly. Yeah, you can fly. And you can fly. Yeah, you can fly. So don't hold back and give all that you've got. It's your time to shine and give all that's inside. No, don't hold back and give all that you've got. It's your time to shine and give all that's inside. Oh, you can fly, fly, fly. Yeah, you can fly. I'm one of the greatest of them all. Even when my faith is shaken, I still stand tall. Yeah. Even when my faith is shaken, I still stand tall. Thank you. Ooh, na na na. Let it go. Ooh. Have you ever felt like giving it all away when nothing seemed to happen? You turn around and say, I don't ever want this dream. Things are not my way. Giving it a try, I fail anyway. But you don't know for sure if things would get better, and you never know what's hidden here in store. So if you never try and fight through this weather, then you'll live a lie inside. If you have a dream, please don't let it go. Just know it in your heart that it'll work out for sure. If you got a dream, you better let it glow. You'll make it through another day. Please don't let it go. Your friends and your family, a little faith in you. They say you'll never make it, that you are bound to lose. And yes, you've been hurt. Now what are you gonna do? Just sit around and waste it. Find something to do. I know you are scared of reaching another level. You're breaking up inside. You wanna run away and hide. It It's time to take a stand, to fight through this letter. You'll find the strength inside tonight. If you have a dream, please don't let it go. Just know it in your heart that it'll work out for sure. If you got a dream, you better let it glow. You make it through another day. Please don't let it go. 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 Never walk away from this start. You can make this dream come to life. If it's hurt your soul deep inside, then you will find the light. Please don't let it go. Please don't let it go. Even though you hurt, even though you cry, please don't let it go. Please don't let it go. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maki, for such two wonderful renditions. I think we should give her another round of applause. So I didn't say it at the beginning. I was only tasked with doing half of the ceremony because my co-host would have just arrived probably after we started. So now I want to introduce the moderator for the second half, Ms. Henrietta Alexander, Vice Chair of the CTFS. Ms. Alexander.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to acknowledge the protocols already established. My name is Henrietta Alexander, and I am the Vice Chair of the CTFS. I've been traveling from 7:15 this morning. It's been a very long day. As I listened to Dr. Clark outline her 4 key points, I found myself nodding in agreement. Her remarks served as a timely reminder of both the opportunities before us and the responsibility we share in advancing food safety throughout the region. I hope we have all listened carefully and prepared to engage meaningfully with one another over the course of this meeting. So I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, Mrs. Selvine Stevenson Grant, Deputy Program Manager, Agricultural Development, CARICOM Secretariat.
Thank you. Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister for Health, Dr. Patricia Johnson, Chairperson, CTFS, Dr. Renata Clark, FAO Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Caribbean, Dr. Gavin Peters, Chief Executive Officer, CAFSA, Mr. Giuseppe Di Chiera, Standards Development and Communication Specialist, FAO Rome, representatives of member states, development partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a pleasure to join you for the 3rd annual meeting of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety under the theme, Safeguarding the Plate, Advancing Food Safety Across the Caribbean. This gathering comes at an important time for the Caribbean community. Across our region, countries are working to strengthen food and nutrition security, increase agricultural production, expand intra-regional trade, and build more resilient food systems capable of withstanding climate, economic, and public health shocks. As these efforts advance, food safety becomes increasingly important. Food safety is not simply a technical matter. It is fundamental to public health, consumer confidence, economic competitiveness, and sustainable development. The Caribbean community has long recognized that food security and food safety are inseparable. Through the 25 by 2025 plus 5 initiative, member states are seeking to transform regional food systems by increasing production, strengthening value chains, improving market access, and reducing the region's dependence on imported food. However, increased production alone is not sufficient. The CARICOM Secretariat therefore places significant importance on strengthening regional food safety systems, supporting science-based decision-making, advancing harmonized standards, and promoting greater collaboration among member states. The Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety continues to play a critical role in advancing these objectives. Through its work, the task force has helped strengthen regional dialogue and cooperation on key issues, including food safety, governance, laboratory capacity, surveillance systems, risk assessment, traceability, food safety culture, and the application of Codex standards. Importantly, it provides a mechanism through which countries can share their experiences, address common challenges, pursue coordinated solutions to emerging food safety risks. So therefore, food safety is a shared responsibility. Governments, farmers, fishers, researchers, consumers, and development partners all have a role to play in ensuring that safe food reaches every Caribbean household. The CARICOM Secretariat commends the government of Grenada, the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency, CAFSA, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and all members of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety for their continued leadership and commitment to this important agenda. We remain committed to supporting member states and regional institutions as we work together to build safer, healthier, and more resilient food systems for the people of the Caribbean. I wish you productive deliberations and successful meetings this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Grant. One point I'd like to just reiterate that you said, food safety is fundamental to public health. And although, while we represent different countries and jurisdictions, many of the challenges we face are remarkably similar. The issues confronting one nation are often echoed across the Caribbean, which is why collaboration, knowledge sharing, and mutual support are so important. And by working together, learning from each other's experiences, and building on our collective strengths, we can make significant strides toward a safer and more resilient food system for our region. With that said, our next person or speaker will be Dr. Gavin Peters, Chief Executive Officer, CASFA.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The protocol being established, but however, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister of Health of Grenada, the Honorable Philip Telesford, when he was introducing himself to the chair. They were sharing experiences of the prime ministers who have the similar name as Philip, the one from St. Lucia and the one from the Bahamas. and the various permanent secretaries from the government of, or the ministries in Grenada. I acknowledge your presence. Dr. Clark from FAO, and other distinguished guests, colleagues, good evening. I want to, however, add to that list of the special recognition of a person who was important and integral, first in the operationalization of CAFSA, and by extension, the founding of the task force. I am referring to no other than a son of Grenada, Mr. Hell Simeon Collins, as he likes to be referred to, who was the first chief executive officer of CAFSA. He went to Grenada, He went to Suriname and was to start CAFSA, the only officer there in the Ministry of Agriculture in Suriname. So I want to give that special recognition to Mr. Collins this evening. So this has come full circle where you're having now the third annual meeting of the task force here in Grenada. Mr. Collins, I hope he is online. We remember you, Chief. Allow me, from the outset, to sincerely thank the government of Grenada, particularly the Ministries of Agriculture and Health, for hosting this important regional engagement, and to acknowledge the continued commitment of the task force on food safety in advancing a stronger, more coordinated food safety agenda for our region. And I want you to listen carefully. It may be a bit, it's 3 pages, but there are some key words and phrases that have been highlighted already by most of our speakers. But so if you hear me reiterating them, it is because of their importance as it relates to food safety. The theme says, safeguarding the plate, advancing food safety across the Caribbean. And the chair spoke about the plate. When we talk about every plate, that is bringing it to the most simplest form, and we need to recognize that. Every time we go to eat something, is it really safe? And what can that do to our body, our health, and in general, the health of our peoples, our nations? Firstly, the context in which I believe are critical to the future of our region, this theme, and so I want to focus on 3 areas. Firstly, the context in which Caribbean food systems now operate has fundamentally changed. The global environment has become increasingly uncertain, and CARICOM states, such as ours, are feeling the pressure acutely. In recent years, we have witnessed geopolitical tensions disrupt our supply chains. Shipping instability, increased freight costs. Inflation places enormous pressure on food affordability. I'm from Guyana, and when I go home, the amount of money you have to spend to buy, you go into the supermarket, and you leave with a couple of bags, and you're wondering, how come these items are costing so much? When I went to Suriname, you could have gone to the supermarket and used $50 and get a whole cart of goods and your monthly supplies. Now you go into the supermarket with $50, you're walking out with 2 plastic bags. So the climate-related events threaten our agricultural productivity and infrastructure. International shocks, one views as distant events, now reach our shores almost immediately through food prices, shortages, delayed imports, and reduced access to essential inputs. For the Caribbean, where many member states remain significantly dependent on imported food, these realities expose a difficult truth. Food security can no longer be measured only by whether food is available. It must also be measured by whether food systems are resilient, trustworthy, and capable of protecting public health under pressure. Because access to food without assurance of safety is not food security. One of the previous speakers spoke about our increasing in food production. And at CAFSA, I always say, this is good. Our governments are trying to increase food production. But if we do it in a way that at the end, we have more food, but it is not safe because the practices that we would have used to produce that food are not in compliance with the standards that we can set or the international standards, then what are we doing? We are simply producing more of food that really is not worth the while because you will not be able to send it abroad. My concern is even not sending it abroad. My concern is whatever food we are producing, it is first and foremost for our local consumption. We have to go into the supermarket and buy that food. We have to go to the market and buy that food. So food safety in our context is to ensure that the food that we are producing and consuming is safe. Because without that, it is not food security. And as we seek to strengthen regional production, improve interregional trade, and reduce vulnerability, food safety must be embedded at the center of our transformation, not treated as an afterthought. My second point is to highlight that food safety is no longer solely a technical or public health matter. It is now directly tied to economic confidence, trade competitiveness, and national resilience. Unsafe food carry consequences far beyond just illness. It damages trust. It affects tourism. It increases healthcare costs. In this region, the Minister of Health and the PS, are we considered why the incidence of cancer is so high? And what is the correlation with the food that we consume? It disrupts business continuity. It weakens confidence in domestic food systems. There is a thought, and I'm a very transparent person. My food safety specialist, Ms. Blackman, could tell you. I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't try to hide and be very diplomatic when it comes to certain things. There is a thought, or you hear this shared in Suriname, that the producers of certain vegetables, for example, would have two plots. They have one near their homes where they would produce for their local consumption, for their own consumption. And the other out there is what is produced for them to take to the market. The practices within those two plots are different in terms of what the chemicals they use or how they spray it. And so that is what I'm referring to as having confidence in our domestic food systems. And it creates barriers to market access. For the Caribbean, where tourism remains a major economic pillar, and where many countries seek to expand agricultural trade and food enterprise development, consumer confidence is not optional, it is essential. I have to be assured that when I go in the supermarket and pick up this pack of callaloo, that I am assured it doesn't have the pesticide residue levels is not out of the. And I'm be very honest with you, I only buy callaloo that is imported and frozen, because I think in my mind that it's coming from Europe, and so they would have ensured that the residue levels are below the minimum standards. I don't trust because of what I heard and I just shared with you. So consumer confidence is not optional, it's essential. Visitors must trust the food they consume. If we want to develop and strengthen our tourism product, every visitor that comes and is in these hotels, they must be assured that the food that they consume is safe. Citizens must trust the systems intended to protect them. The Chief Environmental Health Officer spoke about ensuring that the food handlers are certified, and so that the food, when we buy it, we can assure that it is prepared by someone who is certified to do so. Trading partners must trust the integrity of our regulatory framework. Those of us who has the responsibility to ensure that the food that is coming in, that the food that is sold, are following the standards and are meeting the requirements of our law, must ensure that we comply with those regulations, and so that we don't have any problems in enforcing those regulatory frameworks. And producers must operate within the system that support consistency, compliance, and credibility. The reality is simple. Safer food strengthens economies. When food safety systems are weak, the cost is not paid only in public health outcomes, but in lost opportunities for trade, investment, tourism, and growth. This is why food safety deserves stronger positioning within national and regional developmental priorities, not as a narrow compliance obligation, but as a strategic investment. So I was glad when the chair spoke of taking the proposal to cabinet, and it was readily agreed to, because investment in forums like these are important. The support of your national participating in the task force is important. The meeting is here in Grenada. Next year it will be in another CARICOM member states. Support your task force member to attend, because your attendance and participation is vital and important as we seek to move this agenda forward. And my third and final point is this: the future of Caribbean food safety will depend on stronger regional cooperation, smarter systems, and greater innovation. No single country in our region can effectively address emerging food safety risks in isolation. We simply don't have the bodies to be able to do it by ourselves. We don't have the resources to say, oh, we're going to set up all of that is required to ensure that our food is safe. So collectively, as a region, we have to do it together. The challenges we face are increasingly interconnected. Food moves across borders. A lot of products come to Grenada from Trinidad, from St. Vincent, from St. Lucia, I hope from Guyana. Supply chains are more complex. Consumer expectations are changing. International requirements continue to evolve and are more stringent. Example, as it relates to the MRLs for pesticides or other residues in products. To get your product into Europe, and it is their right and obligation. Every time the Codex standards come out, those levels are being reduced. So it's making it more difficult to become compliant, but it's important. It is important. And new risks, whether biological, chemical, environmental, or fraud-related, require more sophisticated response. This last point on fraud related. Who assures us that all of this food that we import actually meet the requirements and is consistent with the label that comes on it? Or we just take it for granted that, well, because it's coming from the United States, it's all well and good, or from Europe, or from Trinidad or Tobago. We have to be able to assure our consumers, us, it's we that go in the supermarket and buy the food, that what it says, that is exactly what it is. This is precisely why the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety remains important. This platform reflects the kind of regional coordination we need, not simply discussion, but practical alignment. Over the coming days, this meeting will address issues that are fundamental to modern food governance, legislative strengthening, laboratory capacity, food safety culture, and I want to emphasize that one, food safety culture, because as we develop a culture of food safety, if you go in the supermarket, ensure that the food that is there is presented and meets according to your knowledge. This is where, as part of the culture, we have to educate our population so that they are aware of what is safe and how they should prepare and consume their food. Codex implementation, risk assessment, traceability, digital innovation, and predictive surveillance. These are not independent technical teams. They are components of modern, credible, and resilient food safety architecture. The future of food safety will not be built solely through traditional inspection models. It will be built through science-based decision-making, stronger data systems, regional technical collaboration, digital traceability, improved laboratory intelligence, and a culture that prioritizes prevention rather than reaction. And most importantly, it would require partnerships, as governments alone cannot achieve this. Neither can regulators working in isolation. Progress depends on collaboration among public institutions, technical agencies, academia, industry, regional organizations, and international developmental partners. The strength of this meeting lies in that collective engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, the Caribbean has reached a point where food safety can no longer be viewed as peripheral to development. It is central to food security, central to public confidence, central to trade, tourism, and central to resilience. If we are serious about transforming Caribbean food systems, then we must be equally serious about building food safety systems that are modern, coordinated, science-driven, and fit for the future. CAFSU remains committed to working alongside member states and regional partners to support that transformation. But progress requires urgency, sustained commitment, and collective ownership. This is all of us. I was going to say all of we business. That is Guyanese. Let's this meeting not only reflect on progress made, but accelerate the action still required. Because safeguarding the plate ultimately means safeguarding the health, confidence, and prosperity of the Caribbean people. I thank you, and I wish you productive deliberations in the coming days. Thank you very much.
I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Joseph Andal, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development of Grenada, and his wife, Mrs. Andal, as well as the Ambassador Udain Garcia of Trinidad and Tobago. I think Dr. Gavin Peters needs another round of applause. As the speakers were speaking, I was taking notes. And Dr. Peters, there were so many different nuggets that you touched on. The geopolitical tensions, shipping instability, inflation on food items, the international shocks that reach our shores even quicker than they used to. And food security cannot only be measured by whether food is available. I think that is a very, very important point. If it is not safe, what's the rest? If it is not safe, it is not food. So having access to something that is not safe is not beneficial to us. So I would like us to keep that in mind. Our next speaker, the FAO World Food Safety Day special remarks, Mr. Giuseppe, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. Mr. Giuseppe Di Chiera, Standards Development and Communication Specialist, FAO Rome.
I'm not even able to pronounce my name, so don't worry. Honorable Mr. Telesford, CAFSA, CARICOM, and FAO colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and also please allow me to also mention here my dear friend, Susan McLennan, who was the first person that I worked with initially with the Jamaica team and then here at CAFSA. It is an honor, real honor to be here with you today in Grenada. I, of course, bring warm greetings from the Codex Secretariat and would like to thank the government of Grenada, CAFSA, CARICOM, and our partners for your leadership and also for the wonderful welcome. This week, on June 7, we celebrate World Food Safety Day under the theme From Burden to Solutions, Safe Food Everywhere. And this theme perfectly captures the issues at hand, because while we all love good food, and we heard that from our speakers, we know that unsafe food can quietly create heavy burdens on families, health systems, and also economies. Every day, unsafe food harms lives, economies, livelihoods, and foodborne diseases affect hundreds of millions of people globally each year. Yet most of this burden is preventable. Let me say it once again, most of this burden is indeed preventable. In the Caribbean, here in your region, where tourism, fisheries, agriculture, and the vibrant food culture that I have the pleasure to experience these days are central to identities and economies, keeping food safe, it is not just a technical matter. It is a matter of priority and a matter of international reputation. This year, the World Health Organization is also releasing the new global estimates on the burden of foodborne disease through the report of the Foodborne Disease Burden Epidemiology Reference Group, or as I prefer to call it, the FERG report. These numbers will give us a clear picture who is most affected, where the risks are the highest, and also which hazards have the greatest impact. But data alone is not enough. We must move from burden to solutions. And in this context, as many of you probably know, I work with the Codex Secretariat. And let me stress that Codex, and when I say Codex, I mean all of us, the members, the IGOs, the NGOs, you, my dear colleagues. We We work together to support countries in turning evidence into practical actions. And in Codex, again, we do this together. We do this together by developing science-based international food standards that protect consumer health and facilitate fair practices in the food trade. And these standards mean a lot to different regions. And they also mean a lot here for the Caribbean. They are especially valuable for the Caribbean. Here, I know that you have unique realities which give rise to distinct challenges. Rich food traditions and cultural heritage exist, let me say, alongside some vulnerabilities that we all are aware of, inherent especially to small islands. And I'm here to gather this information, to listen also to these challenges that you're facing. And that's why also the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety is so valuable, and why your strong engagement with Codex and the promotion of World Food Safety Day is so important to the region. As Dr. Gavin was saying, the slogan for World Food Safety Day is "Food safety is everyone's business." And this has been our slogan from the very beginning. And here I can say that from farmers to fishers to processors to vendors to chefs to inspectors to consumers, and I can go on for quite some time. What I mean is that every single person, all of us, we have a role to play when it comes to food safety. I was, on a personal note, I was listening to Dr. Patricia Johnson mentioning Jamaican grandmothers. And I have a few friends from the region, especially from Jamaica, and I can say that after having dinner with them, I have to admit that when it comes to spotting if something isn't right with food, nobody beats a Caribbean grandmother. Dear friends, I'm especially pleased that this task force meeting is taking place alongside World Food Safety Day. The discussion plans over the next few days, including your youth engagement and advancing Codex work, are exactly what we need now, are exactly the kind of practice, regional solutions that we need. Dr. Renata Clark was also mentioning that there are different ways by which we can engage with Codex, that we don't have necessarily to immediately go from 0 to 100, that there is some in between that we can use and start from or potentially reach. So once again, let me say that I'm here to listen carefully to your perspective, but also to work with you in shaping a more coordinated and resilient regional response. So what I would like to you, I'm giving you some homework, is that when you return to your ministry after this visit to the Spice Island, you advocate for the budget and resources that you need to actively participate. And when I say participate, I don't mean just going to a Codex meeting. I mean engage from the very beginning, from the point zero with Codex. This way, your voices can not only be heard, but can shape each standard to match your national and regional needs. I'm almost done. So my final message for you is that on this World Food Safety Day, I really would like us to make a shared commitment, as the team is saying, to move decisively from understanding the burden to delivering real solutions. Together, through strength and collaboration and the effective development and implementation of Codex standards, we can significantly reduce foodborne risk and protect public health. And in doing so, we can all contribute to ensuring that the people enjoying a delicious plate of kalaloo soup, which I tried and it's very tasty, or all down, which I will try tomorrow, this is what remains is only the richness of the flavor and the joy of a shared moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Giuseppe. I got it? Great. It is always a good thing when we have the support of external agencies. That means that we are not in the fight alone. We have help, we have support, and we must utilize the support of the agencies such as FAO, IECA, COLEAD. So as we break up the speakers, we now have an entertainment segment by the Dynamic Olives Dance Company.
Beautiful and unique. You see where I come from, yeah. vacation. I'm so proud to call you my home. Home sweet home, yeah. Home sweet home, yeah. Home sweet home. I'm so proud to call you my home. Home sweet home, yeah. Home sweet home. Home sweet home.
I think I'm ready to call Grenada my home sweet home too. Our final remarks for the night will come from the Honorable Philip A. Telesford, Minister for Health, Grenada.
Good evening, everybody. It was a real pleasure meeting all of you and just being able to connect across the islands. And we welcome you here to Grenada. I recognize the presence of Honorable Minister Andel and his wife who has joined us here, and all of you wonderful dignitaries from the various organizations, as well as the officers within the ministries of health and agriculture. It is indeed a real honor to welcome all of you to pure Grenada, the Isle of Spice, where everything is really nice in Jesus Christ. And to welcome you to this third annual meeting of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Security. Task Force? Food safety, sorry. Yes, food safety. Yes, because there is a distinction between safety and security. I learned that a little earlier this evening. Hosting this meeting is indeed a privilege for us here in Grenada. And we are delighted to have you here to continue advancing the important work of strengthening food safety across our Caribbean community. Therefore, on behalf of the government and people of Grenada, I warmly invite you, although you have already started, to explore and enjoy our beautiful, peaceful island during your stay here in Grenada. Experience our vibrant culture, the taste of our cuisine, and immerse yourself in the warmth of our Grenadian people. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is not simply an administrative exercise, but it is indeed a celebration of collaboration, science, and shared responsibility. Food safety is inseparable from public health. The meals we prepare, the products that we trade, and the food we serve in our homes and communities all directly affect the health of our people. When food safety systems are strong, we prevent diseases, reduce healthcare burdens, and build healthier, more resilient societies. However, when they are weak, the consequences are felt across our hospitals, across our economies and our communities. The CTFS was established to coordinate, harmonize, and modernize food safety interventions across CARICOM. Its role as a technical advisory body to Caribbean Agriculture, Health, and Food Safety Agency is extremely vital, providing guidance on standards, legislation, laboratory networking, surveillance, and capacity building. This simply means that as a region, we are bridging the gap between jurisdictions, advancing best practices, and ensuring that Caribbean food safety systems meet the highest international benchmarks. As Health Minister, I believe that over the next few days, your work will touch on critical areas, such as advising on priority, hazard, and challenges facing our region, recommending common approaches to modernize legislation and regulation, to strengthen laboratory networks and surveillance capacity, guiding investment in infrastructure, training, and competency enhancement, promoting awareness and advocacy so that food safety becomes not just policy, but our culture. Distinguished officials, esteemed colleagues, members of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety, our partners, friends, and everyone, Grenada, like many other sister nations, continue to invest in modernizing inspection services, strengthening laboratory capacity, and embedding safety practices in our schools, in our businesses, and our homes. But no system can succeed without the active participation of the people that it serves. And that is why I want to leave you with a simple but powerful message that food safety starts with me. It starts with us. Therefore, may this meeting not only advance our technical agenda, but also deepen our bonds as Caribbean neighbors. And now, distinguished officials, members of the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety, our partners, and all with great pride and anticipation, it is my profound honor and privilege to declare this third meeting on the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety officially open. I wish us to be healthy people with safe foods and a strong Caribbean family. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Minister. And before I give the vote of thanks, I would like to especially recognize the driving force of the CTFS, Mrs. Janelle Blackman-Yard. Those of us who continuously work with Mrs. Yard knows that she does not sleep. You will get emails at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter what time zone you are in. You will receive those emails, and I love her passion. Her passion is definitely something to be encouraged by. And happy belated birthday, Mrs. Blackman. So I would like to thank all of our speakers, Dr. Patricia Johnson, Chairperson of the CTFS, Mr. Kenneth Hazard, Chief Environmental Health Officer, Grenada, Dr. Renata Clark, Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Caribbean, FAO, Mrs. Selvin Stevenson Grant, Deputy Program Manager, Agricultural Development, CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Gavin Peters, Chief Executive Officer, CASFA, Mr. Giuseppe D. Chiera, Standards Development and Communication Specialist, FAO Rome, and the Honorable Philip A. Telesford, Minister for Health, Grenada. And in closing, we have heard quite a bit of information this evening, and I do hope that we have taken into account what was said. The discussions this evening have reinforced an important message. Food safety is a shared responsibility, and meaningful progress requires collaboration, commitment, and continuous learning. While we may come from different countries and sectors, we are united by a common goal: to strengthen food safety systems across the Caribbean and better protect the health of our people. At this time, we will have a group photo with all of the PSs, the ministers, the specially invited guests, and of course, the CTFS.